Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for participating in this, joining this webinar, Take Control of Your Financial Future. This is an initiative by the FSAI Goa chapter to reach out to not only just the FSAI members, but also to general public, whoever are interested in joining such webinars and gaining knowledge. Generally, we do technical seminars, but also apart from technical seminars, we also do such seminars like what is going on today on the financial aspects. Because every organization, every individual needs to focus on the finances. So that is the reason this is one of the first webinars being organized, initiated by Goa chapter of FSAI. And thank you for joining us. And welcome also to our FSAI members who are participating today. And a special message to our non-FSAI members who have joined in today. I kindly request you all to go through our website, www.fsai.in, read about our organization, download the application form, and become members in help. I request you because this will help you to contribute to this nation as far as safety and security of this country is concerned. And also, not only the country, it's also safety and security of your families. Now, I'll tell you in brief about FSAI. This organization, as you just heard the anthem, and where they mentioned that it was formed in 2002, almost 18 years back, by like-minded professionals who thought that this country needed a non-profit organization to help as far as security and safety, fire safety aspects are concerned. So over the years, now we have about 7,000 plus, about 7,600 odd members pan India, and we have about 24 chapters with some of the top multinational companies, national companies, corporates, MSMEs, individual members, professionals who are members of this organization. We not only just network, we organize workshops, seminars, exhibitions, which are world class. So I request you all to take advantage of this organization, join us. You can also attend the certain certified courses that we have. And the best part of it is there's no restriction for this membership. You need not be a corporate to be a member. You need not be a professional to be a member. Even an ordinary Indian citizen can become a member of this organization. That's the beauty of this organization. So I request the participants, particularly the NOM members who are joined in today, have a look at our website. You will understand the professionalism in this organization and take advantage, become members. Now coming to today's speaker, Mr. Shivanand Pandit, I would like to introduce you to him. He's a close friend of mine for over many years, more than a decade. We've been colleagues, he has worked with me. He's an expert in this particular line of finance. His experience of almost 25 years has helped him to not only do the financial analysis or accounts and all that, but his passion to share his knowledge, whatever he's learned, to the students in the college or to the professionals in different fields. He's been organizing talks, seminars. Apart from that, he's written books, co-authored many books. So we thought, why not, let this gentleman share his knowledge with you all. And the good part is, finance is a very serious subject. But Shivanand has got a knack of bringing in a humor and interactive way of doing his presentations. So I'm sure you will enjoy his presentations. Let us see what pointers he'll give us as far as the future of our finances are concerned, how we can take control of our finances. So over to you, dear Shivanand. All the best.
All right. Dear friends, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, the world is navigating through uncultivated territory, facing a crisis unmatched in its scope and spread. A crisis generally tend to be highly dynamic in nature. A crisis can push people and business to evolve. But meanwhile, crisis can also afford or bestow unique opportunities. The unknown enemy, coronavirus, has become known, although it is invisible. Now we have a better understanding of the risks that have germinated. Nevertheless, gearing up for the new normal is a big challenge. Therefore, we need to reframe existing policies and models. Well, investment strategy is not an exception to this. Investors have witnessed fluctuations or commotions in the stock market. Still, investors have to take the benefit from those corrections rather than shying away from them. So it is important to understand the basics of investment before starting the voyage. So let me start with these certain fundamental points or maybe certain fundamental lessons regarding investment is concerned. Investment is a tool for building wealth. It is an excellent opportunity, it's an excellent weapon to build your wealth. It is not only for wealthy. Many have a wrong notion that investment is only for rich people, what I can do with a small amount of income. No, it is wrong. Investment is not only for wealthy. Anyone can get started on an investing program. And various options are available. And it is easy to begin with a small amount of investments. So basically, it is for everyone. It is not only for rich people or wealthy people. Now, what differentiates investment from gambling? Now, I don't want to talk about gambling today. What differentiates investments from gambling is a time. It is not a get-rich scheme. Now, our investment is not. Let me share some slide here. There's some technical problem regarding the sharing here.
In the meanwhile, as Mr. Shivanand will share his slides, I'll continue. See, some of you all who are participating might already be experts or who have already been investing. So for them, it is more like a kind of a pointers and the thing. But for some of the new younger entrepreneurs who are on this particular uh, webinar, for them this will be like a good guide how they can start investing in future. Many of y'all are, I know many of our members who are young entrepreneurs, they can take advantage of listening to Mr. Pandit and learn how slowly they can get into this particular field of investing, because you need somebody to guide you, you know. So that is what I suggest. Kindly bear up with us. He's having a little problem to share his screen of his presentation. Yeah, that's good. I think we are back on track. Shivanand, you can unmute and carry on now.
Yeah, all right. Sorry for the disturbance. Yes, investing is interesting. That is what I was telling. Now, it is come back to the second point. What I was referring here is it is not a get rich quick scheme. It takes time, and what differentiates investment from gambling is the time. It takes time, and you have to give a time for your investments. So again, I'm telling, repeating, investment is not a get rich quick scheme. Now, investing is also about making your priorities for your money. Everybody loves to spend money. Spending gives you instant gratification, but that is not the motive of earning income. Now, by investing requires your prioritizing your financial futures and over present desires. You may be having a lot of present desires and all that, but you have to think about your financial future also. Accordingly, you have to prioritize your investment techniques. You have to prioritize your investment strategies. Moreover, no one investment strategy fits for all. Many people ask me, what is the suggestion you have for me? What is the suggestion you for her or him and all that? And they start comparing the suggestions given, and they say you have told one particular mutual fund for that particular person, and why it is not for me. So the basic answer for this is no, there is no one investment strategy which fits for all. So everyone has a different goal. Everyone has a different investment horizons. Everyone has a different investment priorities, and everybody's comfort level with investment is totally different. You may be comfort in investing 10,000 rupees per month. Mr. A may be comfortable with investing maybe more than 10,000 or less than 10,000. So there is no one investment strategy fits for all. So it differs from person to person. So it is very important to define and articulate your own parameters. Now, uh, what is the best way to attain financial security? I have already told you, you have to save for a long period of time. That's investment. That's investing. So your investment time horizon should be long term. Now, what is long term? How many years is the long term? I will get back to that. I will come to that point a little later. Now, my third point on the screen is discuss about money with your honey. What I mean here is, unfortunately, money and or maybe money matters are not discussed at home. Parents are not discussing, majority of the parents, I'm not generalizing the fact here, majority of the parents are not discussing with their children about money. Husband and wife are not discussing about money strategies. It is the primary responsibility of parents to teach their children about money and money management. It is the primary responsibility of husband and wife to discuss about money strategies, money plans, investment plans, etc. So discipline begins at home. So that is the bottom line I want to make here is discipline begins at home. So parents' responsibility to teach their children about money and money lessons. Husband and wife have to discuss together about money plans. Whatever if you want to build a fortune, you have to invest money. There is no other way for that. Now, fourth point is where what I want to highlight here is play long innings systematically and patiently. You have to play long. You have to invest for a long period. Again and again, I'm stressing on that point is the long-term vision. You have to have a long-term vision. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you look at the last one equation on the screen is expenses is equal to income less savings. Remember this golden equation always. Many people I have come across in my life or maybe in my professional career, they say, my income is so much and I'll spend this much in this particular month. Whatever remaining is my investment. That will never happen. Because whatever maybe you decide to spend this month, next month, previous month, whatever, that will never happen. You tend to spend more. What I mean to say here and what I want to stress here is expenses is equal to income less savings. You have to decide that this month I want to save this much. If my income is X, why is my savings? I have to save Y from my X. X minus Y, whatever it happens, that is my expenditure. For example, if your income is 50,000 per month, you have to say that, okay, 30%, 40% I want to save. 20,000, 15,000 rupees I want to save per month. Remaining is 35 or 30 as per according to your plan. That is available for your expenses. So this has to happen. Otherwise, if you say this is my income 50,000, I'll spend 30,000 this month, and I will save 20,000 at the end of the month. That will never happen. You may or you tend to spend more, or you may face extra expenses in your territory. So always remember this golden rule: expenses equal to income less savings. Let me repeat whatever I said now. Investment is a very fantastic tool for building wealth, and it is not a get-rich scheme. This scheme is for all. It is not only for wealthy people or only people who have money. Discuss the money matters, money plans with your children, with your spouses. Nothing wrong in discussing with them. As I said, discipline begins at home. So you have to play long innings systematically and patiently. And remember the golden rule: expenses is equal to income less savings. You have to decide saving amount this month. I have to save this much. The remaining amount is available for your expenditure. Now let's move to the next slide. There are many options for your investment. You may be aware of various options. It starts from very conservative to very active, or maybe I can say very risk-related aspect. Now, you have Sukanya Samriddhi Scheme, you have National Savings Certificate, you have Kisan Vikas Patra, you have recurring deposit, you have fixed deposit, term deposit, you have Public Provident Fund, etc. And you have mutual funds and you have shares. Now, according to me, your mutual fund and shares are the excellent openers in your investment team. Now, today I'm going to talk about only two options, which are which should be excellent openers in your investment team. What I mean by excellent openers, they should play systematically. They should accumulate runs. They should accumulate runs in the sense in the wealth. So these two people, these two players are the excellent megastars in your investment team. Now, with the interest rate staying low and investors' interest are fading in the real estate sector, gold sector, bond sector, and I have already told some of the debt instruments, their interests are getting faded. Their interest getting faded in the sense they are coming towards mutual fund world. They are coming towards equity world. They are coming towards share world. People, experience of the people with mutual funds are increasing day by day. Now, this corona crisis is maybe the temporary trend, but if you look at the last 10 to 15 years experience of the investors in mutual fund, they are all happy. I have met so many people, they are all happy. So, but now they are in a panic mode. Now they are in a very tense mode. What to do ahead? That is why we are gathered together here. Now, basically, what is mutual fund? Let me tell you what is mutual fund is a professionally managed investment scheme. An asset management company bring people together. They accumulate money from people and they invest in shares. They invest in bonds. They invest in other securities. And this is a very highly popular investment option. It is very good for all your financial goals, such as retirement planning, education, children marriage, whatever, etc. So on, whatever you are having, or whatever goals you are having in your financial or maybe plan. It is in one way. What I want to highlight here is it is a popular investment option. It helps you to build wealth. It helps you to realize your financial goals systematically and fantastically. Now, when you, as an investor, when you buy units, or maybe when you invest in mutual fund, you get certain number of units. These units are like share in that particular mutual fund scheme. So that is the value of those units are termed in NAV, that is net asset value. One particular unit has this NAV, net asset value. The total number of whatever the amount, it will be divided by the total number of units, and each unit will be assigned to one value. That is called net asset value, NAV. There are various types of mutual funds, open-ended, close-ended, interval funds, balanced funds, equity or growth, sectoral funds, debt funds, money market funds, liquid funds. So there are various funds. Many of you have already read or maybe came across about recent Franklin Templeton crisis that is relating to debt funds. Now today, I want to highlight a general fund, general scheme, that is equity or growth. Tax saving also you can look into that, but equity or a growth mutual fund scheme is a popular investment option. It helps you to build wealth in a systematic manner. Now there is a wonder, I hope you all people know 7 wonders of the world. Now I have, according to me, the 8th wonder of the world is SIP. What is SIP? That is systematic investment plan. Now what is this systematic investment plan? Every fund houses, every asset management companies provide you to invest a certain amount of money every month, every week, or maybe every fortnight, every year. Now they have come up with even the daily SIPs also. There are many funds who is offering daily SIPs. So you can decide, this is the amount I want to invest every month. I want to invest every week, every fortnight, or maybe every year. So this is called your systematic investment. Now this really fosters discipline. This particular option has gained a lot of importance. It has really gained a lot of importance. Now this avoids you to time the market, or maybe it erases the volatility risk. What I mean by volatility risk is every month or maybe every weekly you are investing certain amount of investment. That will help you to take the cost of average. For example, If this month particular you have invested one particular mutual fund scheme, market has corrected, market has fallen, so you will end up getting more units. In the sense, you have invested maybe 1,000 rupees per month, you will get a 10 units instead of whatever you got 8 units in the last month because of the fall in the NAV. So next month it may be 9 units, next month it may be 8 units, or next month it may be 12 units. So you are taking the cost of average. That is the reason this particular investment route is gaining importance day by day. So if you are stick to your long-term horizon, if you stick to your long-term time horizon, I'm telling you, generally you don't lose the money here. This will definitely help you to build the corpus. So here you no need to focus the market every time, time the market every time, check the portfolio every day. You no need to worry about that. Now I want to give you an example of Sachin Tendulkar's innings here. Now hope everybody knows who is Sachin Tendulkar. Now here Sachin Tendulkar accumulated maximum runs in Test career by sticking on the pitch for a long time. He didn't try to hit every ball over the 4 runs, every ball over the fence. He played very systematically. He played for a long duration. He faced as many as deliveries as possible. So he managed to accumulate many runs in the Test career. So what I want to highlight here is be patient, be persistent, and stick to your time horizon, stick to your financial goals. So let me repeat the 5 points, whatever I have highlighted on the screen, on this slide. SIP or a mutual fund is a very popular investment option. You can take the route of SIP, that is systematic investment plan, which is really a wonder of the world. You can decide which scheme you want to invest. There are many equity or growth schemes in the mutual fund. You can decide which one you want to invest. So you can take the help from financial advisors, financial planners, or you can do your own research. So be tolerant, be persistent, be patient, play like Tendulkar. You stick to your investment horizon, you stick to your financial goals so that you can build a very healthy corpus and you can meet your financial goals. Now there are certain parameters you have to look into before investing in mutual fund. So what I have points, there are many parameters. I have taken a very important, a very vital parameters which you can remember or which you can look into before investing in mutual funds. To help you to remember all the parameters, I have coined the acronym that is again Sachin Virat. You can remember these two people, Sachin and Virat, and I have invented that acronym which will help you to remember the various parameters which you have to take into account before investing in mutual fund. Let's look into those parameters quickly. Now I have Sachin Virat in front of you. Now what is that? First one, systematic. Now I already explained what is this systematic when I explained SIP. Be systematic in your investment. This systematic investment helps you to create a huge wealth and enhance your life cycle. And many investors have followed this. They have gained from this particular tool. So I'm telling you, if you are very systematic in your investment approach, definitely you will build a very healthy corpus of wealth. Second is asset allocation. What is this asset allocation? This is a famous saying, many of you might have heard, don't put all eggs in one basket. So you have to diversify. That is called diversification of your funds. Generally, 100 minus your age. Let me repeat, 100 minus your age should be in your equity. If you are 35, 100 minus 35, 65% of your investment corpus should be in equity. That is the general rule, and I agree with this rule, and which will really help you to build a corpus, because there is a logic here. As you grow, your risk appetite will become low. Your risk appetite doesn't increase with your age. So that is the reason this 100 minus your age should be in equity fund, and not more than 10%, not more than 10% it should be in your cash. So liquid, you have to have a liquid funds. You don't know when the world will change, how the scenario will change. Now at the present world is the classic example for that. So you have to have a liquidity also, but not more than 10% of your portfolio in cash. So asset allocation is very important. The third one is comprehend risk appetite. Now, what is the risk here? Uh, as I said, mutual fund shares come with the risk factor. You have to understand the risk. You have to do a small homework here as far as mutual fund schemes are concerned. What is their beta? What is their alpha? Some sort of financial ratios and all that. You have to find out what is the risk involved in the particular scheme. So if you understand the risk, if you comprehend the risk involved in that particular scheme, you can take a better call. You can take a professional call. So overall, knowing your risk appetite is very important before investing in mutual funds. High expense ratio. Every mutual fund scheme comes with the expenses. That is, they take certain portion from your investment. They take care of their expenses, including mutual fund manager's salary, maintenance of funds, etc. So you have to see what is the expense ratio of the particular mutual fund scheme. You can ask the MFA, mutual fund advisors, mutual fund agents, or the fact sheet comes every month. It is available online. Any particular mutual fund, if you want to invest, you can refer the fact sheet. They mention expense ratio. You can take a call as far as your investments are concerned. If the high expense ratio, the amount which will be invested will be less from your invested amount. So you have to see whether it is high expense ratio, low expense ratio, moderate expense ratio, that you have to look into. Now, very important, ideal time to exit. In my professional life, last almost 25 years, many times I come across this question: when I have to exit from the share market, when I have to redeem my mutual funds, when the market is high, when the market is low, when some crisis happens, when the correction happens. My answer is not a general answer for this. Ideal time to exit is when your financial goals are met with your investment strategy. So you have invested for a particular reason, particular financial goal. Suppose that particular goal you have achieved in one particular year, you can exit. Suppose you want to retire at the age of 50. You started investing from the age of 25. You become 50 in 2021. You remove your investment. You redeem your whatever corpus, because the intention behind that investment was to get retired at 50. So the financial goal has arrived. Financially, you have achieved that goal. That is the ideal time to exit. Not when the market is high, market is low. Of course, you have to keep the track of inflation here. So, but in general, my answer is ideal time to exit is when your financial goals are achieved. Now, nomination, succession plan. You have to have your succession plan in time. Volatility is associated with your life also. So be careful. Succession plan is very important. Many of the elders, many of the people I have seen, you have seen, they failed in this particular sector. So you have to have a nomination in place, succession plan in place. Very important aspect. So look at this chain: systematic asset allocation, comprehend risk, high expense ratio, ideal time to exit, and nomination. Now let us look into Virat. Now what is this? First, volatility. Yes, volatility is another name for stock market. Volatility is another name for share market. Volatility is another name for all equity products. Mutual fund is part of stock market. Mutual fund, nobody can say that mutual fund is not risky and all. It is risky, but if you make a proper plan, proper study, proper research, if you take a proper advice from the experts in the industry, this volatility you can beat. You can take a good advice from experts, or you can get the good input from your research. Then you can beat this volatility, and definitely you can sing the song how the initial lyrics are "Hum honge kamyab." It's absolutely not a difficult task. Now, Indian funds, what I mean here is invest in Indian funds. There are many global funds also available in the market, but I tell you to invest, or I suggest people to invest in Indian funds, because global funds has its own merits and demerits. So Indian funds, you have information on your desk, so you can do a proper research, you can get a proper advice from the experts also. So I suggest to invest in Indian funds. Review. What is this review? This review strategy is your portfolio chunk. I have seen people losing sleep when Sensex falls 500 points, 600 points, 700 points. So don't review your portfolio every day. Why? Because I already told your time horizon should be long term. It is not 1 day, 2 day. It is for years together. If you want to invest in mutual funds, your time horizon should be 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, or maybe more than that, depending upon your financial goals. So bottom line, your investment time horizon should be long term. Now review. How often I should review my portfolio? This is a common question again. So according to me, once in 3 months, that's quarterly, you can review your portfolio, see how your funds are performing, see how your funds are operating, what has happened in your fund, any change in the composition, any change in the compositions, and whether any shares have been sold by the mutual fund managers. Those things you have to see. So you have to review your portfolio 4 times in a year. That's enough. Once in 3 months. Now, aim definition. What is this aim definition? You should have your financial goals on the paper. You should have financial goals in place. You should have your financial goals. Everybody should have financial goals. You may be having a life goals. Many bachelors have a life goal that I want to get married so and so on at a particular age. But those people, they don't have any financial goals. Very sad. So you should have financial goals: retirement, children education, marriage, house buying, etc., etc. That is what I mean here is your aim definition. You have to have your financial goals in place. Track record. What is the meaning of this track record? Now, while selecting mutual fund schemes, you have to look into the performance of that particular scheme. Last 5 years, how this particular fund has performed. Last 10 years, how it has performed. Last 15 years, it has performed. If it is a new fund, what are the composition of the fund, where these companies, where this mutual fund manager is investing. These are all the track record. Of course, this is not only the criteria to select the fund or maybe scheme. It may give you certain hint, or maybe it may give you certain guiding factor. Yes, this particular scheme is going on this particular avenue, on this particular path. So this track record gives you the guiding, some guidance to select the particular scheme. As I said, it should not be the only criteria. So there are 11 parameters here. Systematic, you should be systematic in your investment strategy. You have to allocate assets properly, and you have to understand the risk. You have to look into the expense ratio of the mutual fund scheme. You have to exit when you attain your financial goals. You have to have your succession plan in place. Volatility is another name for the stock market. You cannot avoid, you cannot stay without that. You have to beat that. You have to invest in Indian funds. Review of your portfolio is not needed every day, every month. 4 times in a year is an ideal strategy. You have to have a financial goals in place. You have to define your aims, why you are investing, because people, they don't want to invest simply. And you have to look into the track record of the mutual fund scheme. You have to look into the track record of mutual fund managers. What is his qualification? What is his expertise? Everything. And all informations are available online. So this is the basic parameters about mutual fund investments are concerned. Now let's get into the shares. Now when I say shares, many people have a different notion about shares. Many people say, no, I don't want to be in a share market. This is very risky, and everyday market falls. it is very difficult to track the market, or maybe it is very difficult to uh, chase the returns and all that. Yes, different people have a different perceptions, different notions about share market. But what I want to tell about share market is, before this, just look into this. Uh, this is a slide which talks about the importance of SIP. 30 seconds, just go through this slide and remember what Rajesh Khanna said. Obviously, he would have agreed with me if he was alive. Yes, salary SIP में जाना चाहिए, boss, EMI में नहीं. So have this in your mind. Here, salary includes income, so your income should go into SIP. Now let's look into this shares. Now, what is shares, and how shares and you can become a rewarding relationship? Here I remember Mark Twain's one statement. He says, he said, whole world is divided into two kinds of people. Those who have seen the famous Indian monument, Taj Mahal, and those who have not. Now, this I want to link to share market. The same could be said about investors in the share market. According to me, there are two kinds of investors: those who know about the investment opportunities in stock market and those who don't. So now before getting into the slide in detail, or maybe before getting into the details about shares, I strongly advise you to start investing in shares as early as possible. Now, what is the meaning of share? Share is a share in the share capital of the company. Company, what happened? They accumulate money from different people from different corners of the world. They make a corpus. They allocate each unit to each person who has contributed money. That is why share is a share. It is your share in the total share capital. So it is simple. Share in the share capital of the company is your share. That is called share. You will get a 1 unit of your investment in the form of share. Yes, it is most risky and rewarding option. This more risk, more return. That is the age-old saying goes. So it is risky, but how to overcome those riskiness, how to fight that risk, how to beat that risk. Let's see the golden rules in selecting the shares. Now you become partly owner in the company when you invest in the shares. For example, if you have a 10,000 rupees, you buy maybe 6 or 7 shares of Reliance Industries. You become part owner, or maybe you become the owner partly in the Reliance Industries. So your portion is there in the company. So when you invest in the shares of the company, you are also owner of the company to that extent of your investment. Now, what are the things I need to invest in shares? You need a permanent account number. You need a broker. You need a demat account. You need a trading account. Trading account, because obviously it is many of the brokers are giving as a complimentary now. So especially you need a demat account. Now again, you need a Aadhaar also. So you need a permanent account. Basic documents you need. You just can open in a demat account. You can look into the various parameters again. That is, what is the brokerage? What is the expenses in all here? Different brokerages have a different plans. So you have to look into that, because it should not pinch you. Now, here I have coined one word for you to remember the golden formula. I can say golden rule before investing in share market. Like how I did it with Sachin and Virat as far as the mutual funds are concerned. Here I did it with one word: marriage. What is this marriage now? There is no shortcut success to anyone in the world, or maybe to any parameter, to anything you want to achieve. There is no shortcut. You have to put your efforts, time, energy, everything. Same thing goes for share market. Share market is not an exception for this. So I have listed 8 golden rules for this, or maybe 8 parameters for this, before investing shares. You can remember these 8 golden parameters. The first one, M, mentality matters. Now, what is this mentality? Many people are influenced by the decision of his or her friends, acquaintances, relatives, neighbors, etc. For example, if your neighbor is investing in Reliance Industries share, you are also tend to go according to him or her. You can also follow, you want to follow his quote. I'm saying here, what I want to highlight here is your mentality matters here. If your neighbor, if your relative, if your friend, if your acquaintance invest in Reliance Industry, it doesn't mean that you also go and invest in Reliance Industries. So most of the times I have seen people follow blindly. They invest blindly. What I want to highlight is don't invest blindly because your father did, your mother did, your brother did, your friends did. So the mentality you should have a strong mentality. What you want to invest, where you want to invest, why you want to invest, and overall how you want to invest, and what is the purpose of your investment. That is called, now here is mentality. You should have a strong mentality here. Now, here second word is A, act wisely, act prudently. What is here? Again, I told you earlier, don't invest blindly. Just because of somebody tells you, okay, you go ahead and you invest in this particular share, don't do that. Don't invest or don't buy shares blindly. I have met a friend years before, and he said during the conversation about this share market, I want to give us this example. This is a classic example. You know what he said? I like Katrina Kaif. She endorses Berger products. That's why I want to buy Berger paint share. I didn't find a logic in that. This is a very, very blind. And some people may say, I'm from Allahabad, that's why I want to buy Allahabad Bank. I don't want to give example of United Breweries. You may say whatever you want to. So here, this is, what is my contention here is don't invest blindly, act prudently. Not because of someone says, not because of someone invests in particular company, don't do it. The second word is act wisely, act prudently. Now, the first R in the word, R. Now here this R, I want to connect to reading or maybe research. You have to read a lot. Now, what you have to read? There are a lot of magazines, there are a lot of newspapers available in the world as far as stock market investment is concerned, mutual fund investment is concerned, various investment strategies are concerned. You have a lot of magazines, you have a lot of newspapers. Now, some of them, if you want me to give examples, is the Finapolis, Outlook Money, Outlook Business, Investors India, and these are all magazines, popular magazines, and you no need to buy hard copies now. Everything is available online. And some of the very good papers where they publish very interesting articles about investment, Financial Express, Economic Times, Business Standard, Business Line, etc. So you have a lot of reading materials which you have to take care, which you have to make use of. So that will give you the additional knowledge, for that matter, even the polished knowledge, so that you can frame your investment strategies brilliantly. Next R is have a realistic expectations. Realistic expectations means, see, having a very high hope about your investment is okay. That is a general tendency, but you should have a realistic expectation. Now, during this crisis, for example, during this Corona crisis, you cannot expect that all my investments should give you 50% return, 60% return. All my shares should move upward and all that. You should understand the situation and you should have a realistic expectations. When you have a realistic expectations, you can connect your financial goals brilliantly to your investment strategy. That will definitely help you to grow your money fast and systematically.
Shivanand, sorry to disturb you. Do you have a slide for marriage? The acronym for the marriage? Do you have a?
No, I don't have.
Okay, no problem. Sorry.
I'll repeat that.
No. I thought you have a next slide. Carry on, please carry on.
Now, word I. Here, what I want to say is invest in a business instead of stock. Invest in business. Now, what I mean by invest in business is understand the company in which they are into, or in which the company operates, in which industry it operates, or this particular company is dealing with what? The company's promoters. Who are those promoters? Otherwise, you will end up buying shares like Gitanjali Gems. So you have to understand the model, business model. You have to understand the promoters. Invest in business. Try to understand the business. Try to understand the various parameters of that particular business model and industry as a general and company particular. For example, if you want to invest in Asian Paints in a consumer goods painting industry, general painting industry, consumer goods is general. Asian Paints is a particular. How this particular company is performing in the industry. First, to do SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. I'm not telling you to go in a very in-depth research work. No, it is a simple thing. Find out the strengths in the industry. Find out the opportunity. Find out the weakness, threat. How the company is reacting to that particular factor. SWOT analysis. And then you come back to the company financials, company promoters, company business model. Then you can decide whether this particular company is worth investing or not. For example, industry may be very rewarding, very fantastic, very dynamic, but the company in that particular industry may be doing wrong because of company strategies, promoters' inexperience, so many criteria, so many reasons are there. So before investing, you have to understand the business model. That is, invest in business, not in stock. Now, A is avoid timing the market. This is very, very important. Many people have this bad habit. When the market falls, directly they go and they buy. Suppose you, for example, you since Nifty down by say 100 points, 150 points, you go and buy Asian Paints. And next day again Nifty is down by 50 points. In a panic, you sell that. This is not what I am advising here. This is completely gambling. This is called gambling. This is not called investment strategy, or this is not investing. So avoid timing the market. If you want to invest, invest now. Now is the right time to invest. Don't wait for market fall. Don't wait for some crisis should happen. Don't wait for some political development should happen. Don't wait for change in the finance minister, etc., etc. No, you have to. If you want to invest, invest now. Avoid timing the market. That is a very, very bad strategy. So once you get into this timing the market, then you will be tracked in that. Getting bottom, getting low or up is a completely myth. This is completely myth. So avoid timing the market. Now, G, goals. G stands for goals here. What is your goal? As I said in the earlier slide, aim definition. Goals. Goals should be very, very clear. Why you are buying this particular share? For how long you want to hold? What is the purpose behind this investment? These you have to think. Your goals should be very clear. Unless your goals are clear, you cannot have a very robust or a strong investment strategy. E, emotion control. Very, very important. You may be heard Warren Buffett always says, greed and fear are the two enemies of the share market. This is what I mean here is a emotional control. Emotion control. You have to control your emotions. Don't get panicked when suddenly Nifty goes down maybe 300 points, 500 points and all that. Stick to your investment. Have a long-term vision. Definitely you will reap the reward. You will get the reward. So emotion control is very, very important. So you have to have your emotions in place. Better not guided by them. Don't get panic. Don't get nervous, or maybe don't be greedy also. When market is going up, everybody is buying shares. Let me also go buy. Don't be greedy. You have your goals clear. You have your investment clear. Time horizon. So overall, this acronym talks about the 8 golden rules before investing share. M. Let me repeat the acronym, public demand. M, mentality matters. You should have a strong mentality. M for mentality. A, act wisely, act prudently, don't invest blindly. First R, read research, read various materials, read various newspapers, read various magazines. Here I can add one more also, refer financial advisors, financial experts and all that. Realistic expectation. Next R is be realistic. Don't be too much, very, what do you say, opportunistic or whatever. So you don't expect too much during crisis, or maybe during even the market is going up, maybe even the boom also don't expect too much. You stick to your particular investment strategy, stick to your goal. Invest in business, not in stock. Understand the business model, invest in that particular business. A, avoid timing the market. Don't try to catch bottom or top of the market. Avoid timing the market. Your goal should be clear. Again, I'm telling you, G, goal should be very clear, and emotion control. Don't be panicked. Don't get nervous, or maybe don't be too greedy when you buy shares. Don't think that today you are buying 500 shares of Reliance Industries, tomorrow you will become Mukesh Ambani. No, it is not a get rich thing. So you have to have a patience and discipline in your investment strategy. So these are all 8 golden rules. Now I want to highlight one story here, which I read years before. I always love to share this with my audience. There was a village where one day man appeared and said that he wanted to buy monkeys. And all the villagers went to the forest and here and there gathered all the monkeys, and he was agreed to give 100 rupees per monkey. They gathered all the monkeys, they gave it to him, they got a good money, whatever number of monkeys they gave, he gave a good money back. After some days, one more man appeared. He said, I want monkeys. I want to buy all the monkeys in your village. But that time there were no monkeys because the first man had already bought. And he said, second man said, I'm ready to pay 200 rupees per month. So villagers were puzzled, villagers were bamboozled. What to do now? So they went to the first man and they told him, give us back all our monkeys and we will return your money, whatever you had given. He disagreed. He said, no, I am not going to give your monkeys back. And they said, okay, 150 per monkey. He disagreed. 175 per month. He disagreed. And they said 199, Bata style. 199 they did. No, he disagreed. Then they said, okay, fine, we'll give you 200 rupees. Then also he said, no, he said, totally he refused. And he said, no, I'm not going to give you the monkeys back. Meanwhile, the second man who had come to buy the monkey at 200 rupees, you also left the village. So now what happened? Villagers were thinking, and one man figured out that there may be someone who may come again to buy monkeys at 300 rupees per monkey. So why don't we buy monkeys from the first man, go and pay him 300 rupees and buy all the monkeys back. So let's wait for the another person, then we can negotiate, maybe more than 300 rupees we can sell. So all villagers went to the first man and they said, we want to buy our monkeys back, and we have decided to give 300 rupees per monkey. The man agreed. Man was very happy because it was a very good deal for him. So he gave all the monkeys to him, monkeys to them villagers, and he disappeared. He went with his money. Villagers were waiting. Villagers were waiting. Nobody came. They were waiting for the monkey. They were waiting for the person to come and buy monkey at rupees 300 rupees or more. Nobody came. This is not the moral of the story. Wait. There was another village next to this village. Same story happened. One man appeared there, came there. He told the villagers that I want to buy a goat. He said, I'm ready to give 1,000 rupees per goat. So what these villagers did, They gave all the goats to him, got 1,000 rupees for each goat. The villagers got that money. First man got the goats. Here also same thing happened. After certain number of days, second man came. He said, he told the villagers that I want to buy goats from your village. I want all the goats. But this time there were no goats with the villagers. And then he said 2,000 rupees per goat. Again, villagers were facing. And this is the second village I'm talking about. So they went to the first man. They said, give us all the goats and we will pay you 2,000 rupees. The man said, no, I don't want to give for 2,000 rupees. So during this deal, the second man was frustrated and he left the village. One man figured out in that particular village that, okay, let us buy this goat at 3,000 rupees. Someone will come to buy more than 3,000 rupees. They did the same, they followed the same manner and they went to the first man. They bought out goats. They paid him 3,000 rupees per goat. First man got his money, left the village with the money. So all dealing was done. Villagers were waiting for the person to come to buy these goods more than 3,000 rupees or maybe at 3,000 rupees. Nobody came. Villagers were waiting, villagers were waiting, villagers were waiting. But what is the moral here? Goats are not monkeys. Goats can be used for various purposes. First, goat milk is very healthy and you can sell the milk to others. You can reap returns from goat's milk. Goat's droppings can be used as fuel. It can be used as a fuel for various. When goats become old, or maybe it's to become old to milk, villagers can kill them for mutton. They can sell it. So goats have their merits, unlike monkeys. What happened to the monkeys there? Monkeys owners? Monkeys day by day, it was shouting, shrieking and all that. At one day, because of frustration, monkey owners have to abandon all monkeys. They kill them or they left in the forest, but not with the goats owners. Goats owners continued with the goats. They earned income from goats. Now, what is the moral of the story here? Here in share market, there are many companies, shares are overpriced, but it is worth buying. There are some useless companies, worthless companies, even though their shares are valued more or maybe prices are more, those are not worth buying. Those are monkeys. So my suggestion here is buy goats, not monkeys. So you should be very, very vigilant while buying shares. So this is a story you have to remember, like before investing in shares. Friends, if you buy good shares, if you buy blue chips, we call it as a technical terminology, this is called blue chips, you can tell whole world what Ravi said to Vijay in a very, very, very popular movie. Look at this slide. As a final point, friends, starting a new good habits is tough and requires overcoming lethargy. And we are very popularly known for our indolence and laziness. Most of us like status quo things. For example, even we don't change the default settings when we buy a new mobile phone or a download app. We are happy with whatever default settings. But now you have seen the new world. You have seen the changes, whatever happened in the world. So we have to do whatever we have not done earlier. So investment strategy is not an exception to this. I'm stressing the point here is you start investing if you are not started. If you are already started, do it systematically. Go through all the points which were discussed here. Remember the acronyms, remember the parameters before investing in stock market. If you need any advice, if you need any help, assistance, I have already shared my mobile number in various slides. You are free to approach me. And I thank one and all the participants for taking part in this webinar. Please provide your feedback, whatever forms given in your email. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for FSAI for giving me an excellent opportunity to share my knowledge and experience.